What's up, guys? This is gonna be the 73 Crew Cab Squarebody video. How I ended up with this thing, I was looking at a job way back some back road I've never been on before. That's really not that far from my house. So this thing was local. And anyway, this was peeking out from behind somebody's house. And I was like, man, I'm gonna have to stop and ask about this. And I was driving Maximus that day. So that got me some brownie points with the owner of this thing right off the bat. He was like, man, I see you got a badass truck. I know this thing will go to a good home. How about you come get it this Saturday? And I was so freaking excited. But anyway, he called me on Wednesday night and was like, hey, come get this thing. So I got done with all my shit, went over there. This tire was flat. So luckily there was one that fit that was in the bed of the truck. So I swapped that out, put fresh gas in it, put power steering fluid in it, some antifreeze, and some transmission fluid. And I drove it home. It could not have gone better. So here's a rundown on this thing. It's a 350. I guess it's a 350 turbo. I don't know. Maybe it's a 400. So the reason the guy stopped driving this thing is because this was parked at the bottom of a hill, and then I guess his Ford Ranger rolled down the hill and smashed this side of it. So you can see it was licensed in 2021. So it's not been sitting that long, really. So what I'm gonna do is attempt to get this big dent out of here the best I can. It's not gonna be perfect, but I'm not gonna go full resto on this truck. I'm gonna order a fender, get these lenses. I just got back from O'Reilly's with a whole bunch of light bulbs, so we're gonna try to test all them guys. Then we're gonna pressure wash the whole thing and get the red cleaned up nice and respectable like, and I would like to do a two-tone job on this thing. So white inlay, you know, red there, red on the bottom, white center section, and then the front and the top and the back of the fender be white with the inlay, and then the outside face of it is gonna be red where the squared off angle is. So I got a picture. Also, the top half of this white here at this body line, I think that would be freaking kick-ass. So we get a lot of pressure washing on our hands. We got some ants and mud daubers and wasps that we need to get evicted out of this guy. Do a cleanup on the interior. A little bit of rust there, nothing major. Somebody's put outer rockers in this truck. Maybe not this one, because this is the only rocker that has rust in it. The inner rockers exist on the back only. There is not inner rockers on the front, but I'm not mad. This truck was super cheap. Well, there's a little bit of an inner rocker right there, but not right there. Anyway, you get the idea. It's an old truck. It's 53 years old. Honestly, it drives like a freaking dream. Like I said, change a tire, a couple fluids in it. The only other thing I've done to this truck so far besides fluids in it is I put these on there with what I had available last night. It's still better than what was on there. And then we lube these hinges. So this hood's in really good shape. It does have the slightest amount of a crease, but it's definitely not ruined like a lot of these trucks. I'm gonna get started on cleaning this thing up. We're gonna take all this old window tint off. There's some on these windows too. And we're gonna make it nice and pretty. Well, last night I was out here for a while buffing on this thing. I'm gonna go over the hood some more. Honestly, I ran out of this stuff, so I got to get some more of that. I did go to AutoZone this morning trying to get more, but they did not have any. So what we got instead is some exhaust tips and some random stuff. So what I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna spray it and see how close to that color it is, because we're gonna have to do some touch-ups, and then we're gonna put a headliner in here too. You can see, I mean, there's obviously a discolored spot right there. So the paint isn't literally perfect on this thing, but we're gonna make it pretty anyway. But whenever I get my new dually fender, that's where the new paint is gonna come in. Here's this side that I buffed too. And I stopped at this body line and did the top half right above the fender. And then I did the face of the fender. So what my idea here is, I'm going to paint all this white. And then we're gonna have the roof painted white down to somewhere in this area. However they did the two tones on the squares back in the day. It's gonna stop at that body line. Anyway, here's a headliner that is basically the exact same thing as what Maximus has. And a lot of people liked how I did that. So I'm going to stick that up here. The other day, whenever I vacuumed this truck out, I vacuumed all the flaky crap off this, and I'll go over it with maybe a wire brush. Not gonna wire wheel it, but then we'll take some acetone and wipe this all down. Looks like right there's a flaky spot still. So also, another thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take all this plastic down. Obviously that has to be done for the headliner to go up properly anyway. So while that's out, we're going to paint it black, and this will have a lot more of a modern looking interior then. But we're leaving the seats alone. Maybe get carpet at some point, because down here is pretty ragged out. I'm not trying to go over the top on spending money on this thing, but I got it so cheap that, you know, I can screw around with it a little bit. I'm thinking I'm going to use that Bobcat paint from where I painted those two Bobcat S130s and use that white enamel to do the two-tone in here. And then the roof too. And also, in really good news that's not really related to this truck, I was just on Marketplace and I found a short bed for this. So that's exciting, and it's green just like this, so it's gonna match. And we'll take this short bed and I don't know what we're gonna do with it. Put it out back or something, maybe list it for sale. So this truck's gonna be coming together in the background. Check it out, guys. We got a short bed for the GMC. It even matches it. It's not the most perfect specimen, but it saved me about probably $2,000 to $2,500 on what a reproduction would be. So I guess that's a little bit of leeway for me to be out here with a hammer and a dolly and one of those PDR tools where you can get back in here and press this shit out. So, oh yeah, it also came with the aluminum bezels that go around here and some taillights. They're smoked, and some smoked lenses for this too. So if anybody wants this Chevy tailgate, it is up for trade for a GMC tailgate. But honestly, I probably will go get a reproduction one, because it's just real hard to find these things without damage. So what we're about to do now is put this on the back of it and then line up all three generations of these trucks and take some real cool pictures. There it is. New short bed. Now imagine this glorious inline six noise coming from the GMC. Now, unless a real good deal comes my way, this 4th gen here is almost certainly gonna end up under this truck. And I know that's gonna piss off all the crybaby Duramax purists, but sucks. Go build your own truck. I've already fabbed Dodge bear claw latches into this truck. So, she's gonna be a 6.7 Cummins. And also, I think I decided I'm not gonna roll this outside because these do not even come close to lining up with the fender wells. And that means I'm gonna have to scoot the bed around again, which is what I just got done doing. And that was a pain in the ass. So I guess I'm just gonna line the trucks up in the garage. All right, so something I decided I'm gonna do before I throw this back on the truck is come up here. And I was looking at this earlier, and right in this area, I think, is where I'm gonna cut this, somewhere right in here. And then we're gonna kinda do like a slight curve and then make it symmetrical on that side where we cut it here. So that way it kinda has a contour around the back of the truck. And that way it's not in the way anymore, because right now it's like overhanging where I'm gonna be working whenever I get to doing the roof skin. Secondly, what I'm about to do to this is cut these off, and I'm gonna leave just enough. That way I can fold this thing up under itself, and then this will become the new flat spot that the truck bed, that sits on the rail of the truck bed. All right, guys, here we are. It's been a while since I've got to work on this thing. So I've been out here for a few hours today buffing. So we're starting to look pretty good. Obviously, you can tell that the middle is not done. So that's gonna be a white two-tone inlay. Same thing with the roof. The hood is looking real slick. So what I'm about to do, kind of doing two things at once. I took this and I sprayed it on this piece of aluminum, and it's pretty close to the right color. So that's gonna fix that area where it's been, you know, fuel dripping out of the fuel neck. And then whenever I get my other fender, it'll be the same thing too. So anyway, I was about to take this bed liner out, and I noticed that big old gap. So this thing is really tweaked. So the reason I'm taking the bed liner out is to help push out this giant dent. I might have to get a porta power. I'm gonna take this topper off, and reason for that is, I don't know, I might run it without the topper. I do halfway like it, but I gotta get back in here. There's that big rust spot. So whenever I paint the roof, you know, obviously all that has to get done too. Good freaking news, man. We got new mirrors. Well, new to me, new to the Square mirrors from a marketplace deal. So we're about to spiff these things up. They're both bent like this. I mean, they're symmetrical. Actually, this one is 180 out from the other one, but they have the same bends in them. So we're gonna roll with it, I guess. All right, guys, it's been a minute since I made an update, but here we are. We got 2 dually fenders for the Square, and the GMC is now the place to pile all the extra parts, evidently. And we put a new windshield in this truck. Didn't video any of that because that sucked. So the story on these things are, I could not find any fenders at all around local. They all had cracks in them and they were destroyed, and everybody still wanted $500 for them. So I found these, and they were in Erie, Pennsylvania. So I took one heck of a road trip. It was 7 hours one way, and then traffic in Columbus or Dayton or wherever the heck it was added another hour. So anyway, I got it back here. I've done a little bit of work on it so far. I just sanded it down. It looked exactly like the other one. It's white with like the pinstripe sticker around this body line here, the face of it. One of them did have a repair. Yeah, it looks like it's right there. So this is the fender that I'm going to use. It did not have any studs in it. So I had, I think, 8 studs left from this truck where I pulled out the pieces of the fender. So I put all those back in there with blue Loctite. And then I just cut some 5/16 by 18 all thread and put that in there with epoxy, since the threads are not quite the same. And then, I mean, you guys saw how this dent was before. This is the same bedside. I just used the Porta Power and pressed it out. It's not literally perfect, but I think I'm gonna file on it a little bit to get some of these wavy spots out. I mean, this is pretty close. And then it's gonna have a skim coat of the good stuff, you know. And I'm gonna paint this whole bedside because it flaked off so much, and I ended up sanding this area because it was flaking on me so bad. Same thing right there. So this side's gonna have brand new paint. This is gonna be white and then red up here. So that's what we're gonna try to get accomplished today. And then I master coated, that's what all this stuff is master coat over all the mounting surfaces. You can see it had some rust holes in it. But we're not going for full resto here. We're just going for something that looks cool and is cheap. Oh yeah, so the road trip obviously took like 14, 15 hours, which sucked, but these fenders were $200. So literally $100 per fender. Both of them are in perfect shape other than this one little spot. And I mean, they've repaired it, so you can't even tell out here. And you know, it wasn't just a road trip. I went to Wright-Patterson, saw some airplanes, picked up some random types of beer from out in Erie, Pennsylvania, and some in Ohio. So, pretty cool trip overall. All right, it's about to happen now. We got everything cleaned up, prepped, ready to roll. Got lights set up, paint gun ready. Got our GMC fender sitting here. It's been bare metal since February. We're gonna knock that one out at the same time. So I'm only gonna do this bedside for now. And then once this side's done, then we'll focus on something else on the truck. I don't need the whole thing tore apart all at once. So we're gonna do bedside, tailgate, other bedside, roof, doors, and front. Guys, almost a whole week later, we finally got 30 minutes to tape this thing off. We're not doing nothing with this GMC fender, but here we are. We got this one taped off too. So we're painting the face of this thing red, and then the whole outer edge of it's gonna be white. And eventually we'll get the whole truck done. been keeping up with these videos very well, but here we go. Here's the square. It's put back together. The lights are in it. Everything's bolted together finally, because it was just sitting on there for a while. Pretty slick. Anyway, we've done 2 car shows since the last time I took an update video. Blue truck went to Beatersville. Orange truck did not make it, unfortunately, because the baby was sick that day, and then Ari and the baby didn't come down till way later in the day. But anyway, we also went to UCC with both trucks, so that was a blast. And old Maximus here brought home 2 trophies in a row. So today, what we're gonna do, it's a Sunday, I'm off this weekend, we're gonna make some shit happen. I'm going to paint the roof. It's been sanded for so damn long, sitting here, that it's got surface rust on it again. So we're gonna sand it again, and hopefully by the end of the day, get the roof painted white, hopefully. Obviously we'll epoxy it, and then I'm going to sand this whole bedside off and epoxy it. I've decided I'm just gonna repaint this bedside, so that way it matches the other side 100%. And obviously that's gonna have to be fixed. And then up here, you know, so this will just be brand new red instead of trying to buff it. And then I think, honestly, with the rest of the truck, I'm just gonna buff it again and then get either Poppy's patina or some Penetrol and wipe it all over this truck. And then, of course, paint it white. The orange truck I Penetroled last year, and it literally was not shiny at all. And then I was like, you know what, I should probably wash it since it's been a whole year. And it is shiny again.
Let's get started.
Oh, that's real good. To get a hold of yourself.
Alright, here we are the next day. We got quite a bit done last night. This whole side is painted white. So what we're lacking here, I'm gonna take this mirror back off and buff my paint and take the door handle off for the same reason. And then I'm going to coat it with Penetrol. That's what I did to the hood. The hood looks pretty freaking slick. This is kind of half-ass shiny, but it still needs Penetrol. I'm about to take off this door panel too and get this handle out of my way. This might be way later in the day, but I'm just gonna repaint this whole pillar here red. It's cracked up in here. And then probably same thing up here. Not because I'm worried about that, but because I'm worried about this. So we'll clean this up, try to tack weld it, fill up this hole, hopefully, not blow a big giant hole. Same thing over here. And then we still gotta paint the white on this side. So we're gonna work towards getting all of this shit done today.
To get a hold of yourself.
come and check. Ain't nobody stopping me. Ain't nobody stopping me. Ain't nobody stopping me. Ain't nobody stopping me. Stopping me. Ain't nobody stopping me.
Well, it is time for some updates. So the whole square is painted now. Well, except for those little areas on the B-pillar. And I'll get to that. So anyway, I drove it this weekend. Found out that it's literally god-awful on fuel. I mean, even worse than I expected. So here's the issue. This isn't something that I really had paid any attention to. You know, I just kind of threw the battery in here. Anyway, it knocked out my headlight. So it was completely out. Yeah. So it's like out of the adjustment cup, like the headlight itself, this little beauty ring thing. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to fix that. Anyway, so the battery tray, you know, I was thinking like, what can I do? You know, whenever I tore apart the 4th gen for that thing, I had a plastic battery tray somewhere. So that was the first thing that came to mind. And then I couldn't find it nowhere. So I was like, well, maybe I can rob the one out of this truck, which it's in there. It's probably fine. Well, I was like, well, shit, what if I need that? Anyway, so I started rummaging around out back, found this. Pretty sure this is for a 67 through 72 as well. But I'm going to just probably cut this thing up and splice it in there where it can be used. Or, you know what, if it actually bolts up, I'll just do that. Doesn't look like it's just going to bolt up. Anyway, I'll just modify it however I got to so that way it supports a battery. And then I'm going to get my headlight fixed. But, I mean, this truck was fine. It was reliable. It was just slow. You know, going 60 miles an hour, it feels like that's about as fast as it's going to go because it's screaming and sucking fuel down, which the fuel gauge doesn't work, so you can't see it just moving down real fast. So, speaking of putting 4th gen parts in this truck, this center console thing was in that 4th gen, the blue truck right there. The white 4th gen. Anyway, I was like, man, this thing really needs some cup holders, so I just threw this in there and it works. So we're gonna run that for a minute. I ran that same thing in the floorboard of Maximus for a while before I built a center console for that truck. Well, now that I'm out here looking at this thing, looks like somebody had the same idea as me, so I guess I'm just gonna cut this tray out of here, and then I guess we're gonna find out if this piece of metal can be welded, because it's these little tabs that are broke off.
Let's get started.
That one too. So this one's still in place.
Oh, that's real good. To get a hold of yourself.
Ain't nobody stopping me. Ain't nobody stopping me. Ain't nobody stopping me. Ain't nobody stopping me. Stopping me. Ain't nobody stopping me.
Baba, can you say Squarebody? Well, guys, we're getting real close on this Squarebody, finally. Painted the grill, got it back together. I am going to do some finishing touches on that thing because I didn't paint in there where the 350 is, so I got to get that figured out. Put Hoosier Racing tires license plate on the front, because that's how it was when I got this thing. So we're making it back like an old car hauler once again. Old race car hauler. So this is really all I'm left with here. So we got the 3+3 badges repainted. You saw us pulling a trailer, and then with all those new tools and stuff in the back the other day. And then we had Remy in the back seat for the first time today. I think at some point in the future, I'm gonna get the seats recovered. That's probably not gonna be this video. Also carpet at the same time. But we're looking pretty good now. But we're gonna have to wrap it up because now we have a new project on our hands. Well, we're out here cruising the Squarebody. We're just taking a lap around the back roads right by the house. We're pulling the Bobcat just to see how it does. And honestly, old Square does pretty freaking good. This is literally just a rip around just to see how the Squarebody pulls. And Bobcat's decently heavy, so I think it's like 2,500 pounds or so. The old Square does really good. I'm actually impressed. So this truck was an old race car hauler. That's why I had to put the Hoosier plate back on there. They used to haul around a big old enclosed trailer for the race car. So I took this truck back over to the guy's house where I got it and showed him how I'd painted it and brought it back to life. He was pretty happy. Anyway, moral of the story, this truck pulls really good. I really expected that 350 to be underpowered, but you know what? I would drive this thing. And I do. I actually drive this thing more than any of the other old Chevys now, so. All right, here is some updates on the Square. Firstly, this has really been bothering me a lot. This knob was broke off and it was just sitting up here on the dash. So I cleaned all the gunk out of it because it was pretty much black in here. And I took JB weld. All the plastic in here was broken out, and that's what, you know, it was just gone. So I took JB weld, let it cure overnight, and then drilled and tapped it, screwed it onto that thing. Now it works. I mean, the headlights and all that worked before, but that light's on. But now it's got a nice little knob. Secondly, I got in here and was screwing around with wiring. All right, so the AC doesn't work in this truck. The lines have been cut right in front of the firewall. But at least this blows air, so that's pretty cool. As well, screwing around with the wiring, this one works now. Blows air out down here, but that's heat. We definitely don't want this one during the summertime. So this has got a whole different fan motor. It's up on the front of the firewall. And then this one, there's a fan motor right behind the glove box there. Oh, also in good news about the old Squarebody here, the power steering pump was leaking power steering fluid real bad. And so I got under there and was looking, and it was dripping out of where the pressure line goes into the back of the pump. So I tightened that up, and it didn't even turn very much, but no more power steering leaks. Well guys, this is officially the end of the Squarebody video. We've come a long ways with this thing. I'm not completely done with this truck. I got a little bit more to do, but we got to call it because we got a bunch of other projects. Check this thing out. 65 Jeep J200. Now this is a build for a customer. There'll be videos on this thing in the future. Not sure what engine we're gonna put in this yet, but we're definitely gonna make it cool. The old Ford, that's in a video. There's a bunch of work on the Dodge. That's in another video coming up. Also in videos coming up, the GMC. We've come a long ways on this thing. I'll give you the rundown right quick. So spoiler alert, coming up in the next video, I build a roof, finish out this door, and finish the other side. And the best news of all, we got new merch. We got shirts, we got hats, stickers, and banners. Range of sizes, anything between medium and 1XL. Shirts are 25 bucks a pop. Hats are 35 bucks a pop. Stickers, they're $5 a pop, but they're free if you see me at a car show. This hat here, this is my favorite one. Pretty sick. And then these two are the same as last time. Actually, I think last time I had white letters on them instead of gray. So yeah. Anyway, we will see y'all next time.